Hey guys, thanks so much for checking in today. My name is Steve. This is SAMTB, all things mountain biking. I'm talking today about my Ibis RIpmo. Going to do a little bit of an update for you guys. It has been 3 years since I got my bike from Squatch Bikes out in Brevard, North Carolina. I'm here in sunny Holly Springs, North Carolina, freshly back from Scotland, where it's beautifully cool there and wonderful. And the downhill competitions at Fort William are going on right today, but it'll be a week since then by the time you watch this. But anyway, give you a little bit of an update on my Ibis RIpmo, what I think is awesome, what I think I could make some changes on, what I wish they had done, which they did really well, all that kind of stuff. So let's jump into it right now. Well, here it is, guys, the Ibis RIpmo. This is the AF and the NX version of the AF. AF stands for aluminum frame, and the NX was representation of the SRAM NX transmission system. It was actually the full NX build. So then it came with guide T brakes, which are no longer there, and it came with the NX, 12-speed Eagle gear setup. So that's all been changed out now. Just kind of giving you a quick overview here of the bike, what's on it right now. You might notice some quick changes as I'm kind of panning through here, moving around on the bike, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those changes, what I did change, why I changed it, and then what I kept and why I kept it. So let's get into it now. Boom. All right, so if you're not familiar with the Ibis RIpmo, it is a 29er, meaning it has 29-inch wheels, and it is a full suspension bike. That means it's got a fork in the front and it has a shock in the rear. I'm kind of just gonna go over this thing for everyone, just so if they're looking for a bike, they understand what it is, what these terms are, or what everything means. And if you're a pro or a really accomplished rider, you know what all this stuff is. So anyway, but that's it. So those are the highlights. If you're looking for this type of a bike, it's an aluminum frame bike. Both the front and rear end triangles are aluminum. Wheels are aluminum. And what else was on here that was really a bit of a note would be 160 front travel, 147 rear travel. Things I kept on here, really, let's start off. One of the biggest things was the DVO suspension on this bike. To me, is really phenomenal. It's excellent. It comes with a number of adjustments on here. So on the top here, we have a high speed compression adjustment, which is really, you can really tune that in. And then on down here below, we'll take a peek under there. We have a low speed, and we can adjust this here as well. So this is rebound, basically they call it, which you can kind of see right there. It gives you directions to slow your rebound, to make it faster. It really, you can really kind of tune this bike in here. While we're down here, I will note, and one of the big changes I made was I went up to the i9 wheels. This is not the Ibis version. Ibis does sell a version of i9s with their wheels, but these are the 305s, and they are excellent. They're just a way better hub. It's a better all-together wheel than the one Ibis came out with, although what they give you is excellent. It's just not quite as excellent as what the Industry 9 has here. So I have two pairs of these. I have one of these, which I have the 305s, and I have 270s for more cross-country, faster riding when things are colder in the winter and we're not in quite as much chunk and loam. So there you go. Other thing was this bike came originally with the Maxxis Assegais, and I like them. But I tried these Mazdas out. I tried about a dozen different tires out, and I settled on these Vittoria Mazdas for the bulk of my riding. They're just phenomenal. I happen to have the Enduro casing. You don't need that. When I was looking for them, they were still kind of hard to get. You can definitely go with the trail version of these instead. and they would be fine. I run no liner in the front, and I have a tube liner in the back, which I'll put a little picture up of what a tube liner looks like there. But it's the Vittoria liner, so I have that. Both the front and the rear are 2.6s, so I just you can go with a 2.4 in the rear if you wanted. I kind of like that a little bit extra on the rear, so that's fine. Another big change I made was the brakes. So we'll move on up here. This bike was originally equipped with the SRAM Guide T brakes, and I was super underwhelmed with them. One of the few things I would say on this bike that was under par, if you will. These Dior XTs are phenomenal. I love them. They do a great job. They really stop well. The pads ride and wear really, really well. Kind of swing around here for you. And the cooling fins, I'm not really sure how much they help or they don't, but they've been excellent. I've also swap out occasionally in the winter. A company I use called MTX makes aftermarket brakes that they don't squeak in the wet, and they actually have a little bit more stopping power. But honestly, I hardly ever have any issue with stopping power with these brakes. So there you go. So let's move back up to the top here and kind of show you one other change. Was simply I changed out the original dropper lever to the P&W dropper lever, and I matched that up with the P&W bars. These are 800s, so they're pretty wide. I did not cut them down. I like the width on them. I occasionally whack a tree here and there, but it's pretty rare. A couple of spots I ride, it wouldn't be bad, but you can always cut them down to like 270s or 260s, whatever you want. But I love these bars. Also, I changed out the grips to the Ergon grips. Before this, I had the race face on here. I think the lizard skins are what they ship with, or they used to ship with. I didn't like those at all. They were pretty slick all the time. Didn't like them. And so I really loving the Ergon. These are the GE1s, and they've been great. Good feel. I made one other massive change to this bike, was the shifting. I removed cabling and I went with the SRAM Axe shifter, which I'm trying to get some better light on that for you. There we go, much better light. And that is a wireless shifter, super easy, super simple. This was a really big personal preference for me, and one of the reasons I liked that was that I broke my thumb about almost a year ago now, and this helps a lot. It's a super flawless system. I've not had any issue with connectivity or battery power or any of that nonsense I hear from other people. It just works great. It's not another issue. I've heard from people talk about how noisy it is, but I mean, if you're listening for this noise on the trail, you're doing something wrong. So this is a phenomenal setup. It's really great. I did change out my front gear here for the wolf tooth. It just was wearing, and it was time to change. I had beaten it up pretty good doing hops and punches and stuff, so that needed to change. The DVO Topaz is original. It's excellent, and I've not ever had any issue with it. I check it probably once every month and just check the pressure. Probably about once every 3 months I have to put, I don't know, a pound or two in it, nothing crazy. And it's worked pretty flawlessly. And then the KS dropper here. So this is the only issue I had where something actually failed. About 2-3 months ago, I was out on a trail and it just stopped working. Took it into the shop, and the whole inside, the mechanism that sits somewhere down here, broke. And so I had to have that replaced. Besides that, it runs as good as it was the day I got it. What else can I say about this bike here? Let's just flip this out here. So that's a pretty quick review for you guys on this bike. So Ibis did, the reason I mentioned all of this and I wanted to kind of just reach out to you guys and throw out another video was that Ibis has just done a full renewal, we'll call it, refresh. That's a better word. They did a whole refresh on the Ibis RIpmo. So it looks a bit different now. They renewed their logo. Thank you, Ibis, because I like it a lot better than the old one. But so you know, they've made some changes to the new bike and tweaked geometry just a tiny bit. Ibis knows they got a winner with this bike. I mean, it is, I think it's probably their top selling bike. I don't have the stats for that. I'm gonna go out on a big far out limb and say this is their #1 selling bike still today. They'll get spikes in their new bike sales for sure, but I still think that the RIpmo has got to be #1. It's just everyone I see is riding a RIpmo. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for checking this out. If there's anything I didn't cover, which is possible, leave me some comments down below, and I will definitely get back to you on any details I can get you. And there you go.